Dear Derry, I forgot to do one of these yesterday. It started off innocently enough, I was updating all the games that I have on my desktop, and I decided, hey, I can't remember what my character in Neverwinter is called, because I was involved with the beta, so I had a character back then. It didn't occur to me that, well, maybe they did a wipe and the character's no longer there anymore. I should have considered that, because after patching it, I log in and there's no character there, and I'm like, aw, now I can't remember what I called him. Crap. I think I named him Sumadvaku. I'm not sure. Might have been that. Um, but what happened was I started out. I figured, okay, I'll just create a character real quick, because I also forgot what the character creation thing looks like. So I got going through that, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, we'll tweak this a little bit. And sometimes I try to make them look like me, if it's possible, and sometimes I try to make them kind of my ideal man, if that's possible. In some cases, it's not. But so I wound up making this elf, which I don't normally do. Usually, the most I'll do is make a half elf, but this time I decided to make a full elf, ranger guy. And I got into the thing and I was like, oh, I remember when I first started doing this in the beta, and this part was broken over here. So I went through to find out if that quest was still broken, and it wasn't. And the next thing I know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. So, my character's level 20. Woo! His name is Oudif, Oudif, Oudif Stalking Wolf. And he's got a little dog that goes with him whose name is Ilhe. And that's Ilhe. Ilhe is, well, both names, Oudif and Ilhe, are from a story that I was writing some years back and never finished. Maybe someday I will. Sure. Speaking of finished, I just got finished doing the base radio station, because we do that on Friday nights. Again, it was a great show. We didn't have quite as many listeners as we would normally have for a night that we gave away a ship in Star Citizen, which we do every other week. I say we like I'm a regular part of the show. I'm just a commonly recurring guest. But so we've been getting a lot of, like I said, we didn't have as many people in the audience as normally we would have on nights when we're giving away a ship. In this particular case, it was an Aurora LN, which is the military/patrol variant of it. Apparently, it stands for Legionnaire. But our audience is more engaged. They're chatting with us a lot more, which I think is really cool. And it's a lot of fun to do the show. I really enjoy it. Let's see. I don't really have too much else. This weekend is the ESO beta, so I suspect that once I go get something to eat, I will probably be diving headlong into that. Maybe. We'll see. Not sure. Depends on depends on how quiet it is around here for the next hour or so, and how much more work I have to do, because I do still have a considerable amount of voiceover work to do. I still need to finish recording Saga's Children by E.J. Swift. I have to finish recording Alistair Baffle's Emporium of Wonders for Starship Sofa. I've got now like 3 different things, Galactic Guide entries that I have to record, because I didn't realize that they were Galactic Guide entries, because they're not marked that way. They're just marked as portfolio. And then, I don't know, there's probably something else on my plate that I'm forgetting. I mean, at this point, I think my WoW 2 series is completely stagnated. I don't think I'm going to be able to continue doing much of that for right now. Plus, with Warlords of Draenor coming out, it almost seems pointless to make a WoW 2 because I always seem to wind up doing them right before an expansion pack comes out. So I do the thing, the expansion comes out, and everything I explained is useless. It's not useless, it's just outdated. So I think for right now, I will leave it at 1 through 3, and I will wait to do maybe the professions until I find out if it's going to be more stable. And then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to continue. Sorry. What else? What else can I tell you? Oh, that's the other stuff I've got to do. I've got to finish, like I told you the other day, my buddy, Matt Holmes in Oxford, has tasked me with a new show reel this week, which it's done, I think. Or at least I'm finished with the first portion of it. I would just like send it to him and said, "What do you think?" And he hasn't gotten back to me yet. So what I may do is I may just go ahead and post it. This is my new show reel. It's a general show reel that shows a bunch of varying different things, different voices and whatnot. And from what I gather, he wants me to do then specialized show reels for one that's like all commercials, or one that's all audiobook narrations, or one that's all character voices, and blah, 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 blah. So that when somebody comes looking for, what kind of video game voiceover stuff does he do, they can find my show reel specifically for that. So the general one is done. I just need to it's done. I just need to do the rest of them. Seemed like there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. Next week, starting Saturday, I will be dog sitting for a week and a half. I think I mentioned that. I'm probably just going to take my rig. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this or not, so I haven't decided. I may leave the rig here and just come home every day and do whatever recording I need to do, because this environment during the week is actually more quiet than over where Bray's house is, because there's still, there are lawnmowers and weed eaters and airplanes and stuff here too, but there are much thicker windows, and I don't have to worry about Bray pestering me all the time. Come on, let's go to the dog park. We just came back from there. Why don't you go lay down and take a nap for a couple of hours or something? Anyway, blah. So what I'll probably wind up doing is just leave the rig here, and then it'll be like going to the office, except that the office happens to be my house. And then when I go away from the office, which happens to be my house, I'm going to someone else's house, which is where I'm kind of working. It's a little weird, but, there we go. What else? What else? I know there was something else. Again, there's that I want wine. I was convinced. I was smelling it earlier while we were doing the base radio station. I was convinced that somebody had opened a bottle of wine in this house, because I could just smell it so strongly. I was like, I want wine. So maybe I think I've got a bottle out there. Perhaps I will open it and have some. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I can't really readily think of anything else right at the moment. But actually, yes, I can, because I didn't finish saying what I was going to say earlier. The guys from More Oblivion, which is kind of what I call it, the guys who are doing like the Oblivion or the Morrowind project, Skywind and More Oblivion, and the guys who are taking games like Morrowind and Oblivion and bringing them up to date with the Skyrim engine and whatnot. They put out their call for voice actors, and they're like, okay, so here's your archive. Just go ahead and put in your samples. And I need to do this. I've got the script. It's right there. I just need to record it. But I was recording something for Geek Domo today, because he kind of came to me and was like, hey, could you do this recording for me today real quick? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. So that took about 2 or 3 hours by the time I finished it. And 2 or 3 hours to make 2 minutes and 45 seconds worth of stuff. But I had to write it, not just record it. So, anyway, so, yeah, I'm gonna, 10 minutes, ding. So I will let you guys go, and I'm going to take my Stockton Ports hat and go get some food, and then probably play ESO for the foreseeable future. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Until next time, be careless.